welcome to this episode of the Virtuous Woman Show. My name is Sheila Juma, and we're so happy to be hosting you this very wonderful Sunday evening. We hope you've gone to church. We hope you've had a great week from wherever you're watching us from. Please do let us know. We'd love to hear where you're watching us from. Are you in Nairobi? Are you in Nakuru? Are you in Mombasa? We'd love to hear all the wonderful, beautiful parts we are catching this show from. Before we start, we always ask you to engage with us on our social media platforms. We are the Virtuous Woman Show on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's a lot of content on YouTube. If you've missed any of our shows, you are likely to find it on YouTube. So you can go there, subscribe, and indulge. I'm sure it's going to be a blessing to you. Please sit back, relax, enjoy. This is a very sensitive, emotional, I don't know what else to describe this show as, but we are with a guest that is no new face to us. We are with Reverend Faith Bogonko, and she's come that many times I can't even say her name without looking. Bogonko. We are talking about femicide and the rise of the femicide cases in Kenya. So if you're watching us on your TV screen, please do let someone know that the show is on. If you're watching online, share this broadcast. We'd love to have as many people watching as we can tonight. Karibu sana.
Asante, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for always coming as we have called you.
Thank you.
For those who may not know you, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Reverend Faith Nyokabi Bogonko, and I am a born-again preacher of the Word of God. And I, together with my husband, we pastor a church in Pipeline, Nakuru, Deliverance Christian Church. And once again, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime. So like I said, today we're talking about femicide. Before we start, let's define femicide.
Okay.
It's a big word. What does that mean?
I think it means my understanding. I don't know whether it's a dictionary meaning, but my understanding is it's about ladies being killed, murdered, haphazardly, mysteriously. It's just about females being killed. Yes, I think.
Absolutely. Now we've seen quite a number of these cases on the news, unfortunately. But my question, I think, is: would it be that it's a rise in femicide cases, or has it always been there, just without the attention it's getting from the media?
I think it's always been there.
Okay.
But there's also a rise, a very high rise. I don't really understand the reason, but it's not good. It's high. It's high. And remember when earlier days in the mid-80s when we started hearing about HIV, by the time we go to the 90s, they used to say, if you're not infected, you're affected. And it seems as if that's where we are headed now with the femicide, that if you're not directly affected, you are somehow involved, somehow you know somebody or somebody that knows somebody. Yeah, it's really bad.
How okay, in accordance to your purview, how you see it, do you think it's a widespread issue in the nation, or it's just a Nairobi issue or whatever issue? How widespread is it in the nation?
I think it's getting further because we've had cases. We've heard of Nakuru, we've heard of Eldoret, we've heard of Mombasa. I think it's widespread. But of course, a lot of the focus, because again of the media attention, a lot of it is happening where we get a lot of information from Nairobi because it's fast flowing. But I think it is. I don't know if it's countrywide, but it is fast spread.
It's fast spread.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen a lot of this online. Very many influencers are now rising and speaking about the issue. Many people are talking and voicing their opinions, men and women, about the issue. And I think one of the major statements I've heard across the board is women are being blamed for being killed. So the same issue when it comes to being raped. The woman is being blamed. Oh, kama ungekuwa umevaa hivi, kama ungekuwa unatembea usiku, kama ungekuwa, that would not have happened to you. What is your take on this?
It is so unfortunate, very, very unfortunate that women are blamed even when they are not supposed to take the blame, because take for example, when a 30-year-old man enters the house of a 90-year-old grandmother and rapes her, alikuwa amevaa nini? You know, it's just wrong, because at the end of the day, the person to blame is the devil.
Yeah.
The devil has, this is my take. The enemy has always wanted to make sure there is no generation, there is no next generation. I don't know how far-fetched my theory is, but there's been a lot of attack on the boy child. The boy child, if you would talk to any medic, they will tell you that the fatality rate of the boy child is very high from birth. A boy child does not survive as easily as a girl child. And then when they survive that, then you go again to look at even David when he wants to kill the family of Abigail's husband. He says, if there is any man standing, that one I will kill. Whenever there is war, the men go to the war front. It's the men. It's always the men. And then we came along to a place where now the girl became so empowered. The boy child was not very empowered, turned to drugs. There are so many people, so many young people, that the males that are into drugs and alcoholism. And so the girl has continued being empowered, and now the focus of the enemy now is on this empowered girl child. I have not heard of any case of maybe a manual worker that has gone through this femicide. It's the brainiac, it's the girl with a brain, it's the girl that has a future that is bright, that knows where she's going. And together with the way the enemy has thrown in the darts of homosexuality and lesbianism and all these LGBTQRST, you know, the whole 10 yards, the whole alphabet, is the same way he's using this to stop a generation, to stop a godly generation. And so our girls are being blamed even when it is not their fault. Of course, there's a blame at one point for you not making a right choice. But this is not the time to lay blame. It's the time to make sure that we are taking care of our girls. What do we do about it? How do we protect our girls? This thing is real, and pointing fingers is not a solution. Two wrongs don't make a right. So how do we solve this? That's where we should be at right now, I would believe.
That's a really good point you've made, that pointing fingers is not the solution right now. We need to get to the bottom of this. And I've had you bring in the spiritual aspect of, you know, this is a dart of the enemy, one of the darts of the enemy in our generation, in our time, that he has thrown into the mix. So would you say that would be the root cause of this issue?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would definitely say the root cause is the enemy, because, you know, in January, believers are fasting and praying and seeking the face of God. And then they put all their armor down and they go around the rest of the year. But the enemy is still roaring, seeking whom he is going to devour. He is still on the prowl. He's still seeking and hunting. And so this is just one of his ploys. And so we need to be spiritually alert that this is the enemy's attack. Apart from that, I believe we should take responsibility on how we take care of our girl child. I think she, being a very strong girl, very opinionated, knowing what she wants, she's a go-getter. I think at the same time, Waswahili walisema asiyefunzwa na mamae hufunzwa na ulimwengu. We should not, I think we have abjugated so many of our responsibilities. Tumeacha watoto wamelelewa na house girl. We are very busy looking for this elusive shilling. We are busy, you know, working from dusk to dawn. Dawn to dusk.
Dawn to dusk. Even dawn
and both,
to dusk,
sure. But we are so busy trying to make ends meet, keeping up with the Jonases, that we have left our responsibilities to our house managers and the teachers. Remember in 2020 when the country went through a lockdown, many parents didn't know what to do with their kids. They were like, huyu sasa tutafanya nini? Ata huyu mtoto. They were so confused because we have never taken real responsibility of our children. What are they eating? What are they watching? Who are they hanging around with? Who do they stay with? How much time do they spend with this person? Who is this person? Who is their father? Who is their great-great-grandfather? What's their DNA? Are they believers? What's their faith? What have they been exposed to? Because these things are the sum total of this child we are bringing up. And then if we've not taught them to make choices, watabebwa tu na upepo. And unfortunately, we cannot 100% blame the devil. We take responsibility as well.
I've heard this, among the things I've heard about in social media that has been going around concerning this issue is don't tell, something along this lines, I'm paraphrasing, but the essence of it is that don't tell your girls not to go outside at night. Tell your boys not to hurt them. So in other words, don't, like, the people who are going against the girls, make sure they are aware that that's not something they should be doing. What's your take on that? Should we be taking a more active role with the men concerning the issue?
I think we should take care of our children. Whether male or female, there shouldn't be a preference in this or that. The Swahili word that comes to mind is maadili. We have to make sure that we are bringing up our children in the right way. Some of these kids have been killed during the day. It's not si mambo na giza. It's not about the darkness, basically like day and night. It's about the darkness from hell. And so we need to, if my son is the one murdering, there is the problem. If my daughter is being lured, what's making her being lured? What has attracted her? And I think a lot of this is happening because of social media. Any case you follow down the trail, it falls down back to social media and online dating and dating apps. We have a culture of young people. Sasa nitasemaje na nibaki nimeokoka. Wenye wajui kukatiana na kukatiwa. Vijana wana mistari. Yani, it's very unfortunate that, you know, a good old date where you meet for coffee, where you get introduced or you introduce each other, get to know each other, then the first date, I would believe, would be like a cup of coffee. Sasa hii date ya kwanza kwa apartment, kwa Airbnb. I make sense. Ulikuwa unataka aje? What do you think you are going to do there? 1 + 1 is not adding up, because there's this culture of everything has to be done so fast, instant, and then instant gratification, the lust of the flesh. Our young people are not, both male and female, have lost the value of relationship, of courtship, of just falling in love. And the same social media is throwing vibes, negative vibes on marriage, you know, and submission, and every biblical concept has been trashed. So if it's sexual gratification, we meet and that's it. And then we go to the next one. And people gladly celebrate body counts.
Can you imagine?
Gladly.
How is that a thing?
Hata mtu hablush. What's your body count? Alafu anaanza. And then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we are so off, so far. But God is so gracious. He is still a loving God, and He loves us in spite of ourselves. So I believe social media has played a major, major part in this. Loneliness, lack of just, I have seen it a lot outside the country, especially in the Western culture, where people are busy making the dollar, going to school and doing this. So there's no social life. So you go type up, check out whether there's somebody on your social media, then you link up, you hook up, and then you continue. And that thing is infiltrating our country because we don't have, people are not socializing. We just, like my family will not meet with your family for nyama choma. We are busy. So I remember when we were crossing over in church, I told them this year, let's not just say, mazee tutakunywa ile chai. Hiyo chai tutakunywa, si ndio? And it's as if it's a threat. It's no longer something that we purposely, deliberately choose to sit down and socialize. Because in this socializing, that's when our kids will meet and they will interact and they will get to know a friend of a friend of a friend. And even marriage, watu wanakimbia officially kwa serikali, and yet before there would be the counseling in the church. We as pastors would do counseling, then the families would meet. Sahi, before you know it, they have 2 kids. Ndio wanakuja kwa wazazi.
The world is now a global, it's one village.
Yes.
So it's very easy for any culture to infiltrate another culture.
Very true.
I hear what you're saying. We're going to go on a very short break. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere. After this break, we'll be right back.